I've got a jam-packed show for you today. Grab your favorite snack, your favorite beverage, hang back, relax. Your boy Nez is going to take care of everything. President Donald Trump tells Elon Musk he's doing a great job, but I can't wait to share this with you. And Elon's response is just absolutely golden. Tom Homan, oh my goodness, at CPAC, just dropping the hammer. I've got an amazing today's CNN hack clip. Essentially, I think I have to do a series where the guy who came up with the Doge dividend puts this CNN hack to shame. It's probably going to be the greatest clip that you'll see today. Governor Gavin Newsom, oh God, please pray for California. I live in California. It used to be such a glorious state, but Karen Bass and Newsom have destroyed it. He's asking for federal funding for the LA wildfires. The man has the audacity, after he has wasted billions on so many things I'm going to share with you. And then I've got leaked audio from Mayor Karen Bass. Very cryptic, very bizarre, and very strange. But first, I want to ask you a serious question. Who does this remind you of?
Over our country, I'll tell you, I had 4 years. I don't know if you had this. I couldn't stand it. Don't get angry. Donald, don't get angry, please. I couldn't stand it. Watching these people come in from jails and mental institutions and the worst criminals in the street, gang members being dropped off in buses and bussed into our country. I couldn't stand it. So I said, I'm going to run for president again. And now we don't have that problem.
You know who that reminds me of? It reminds me of me. That's who. Oh, God, I love that clip. I was just watching it earlier today. I had to share it with you. Absolutely brilliant. Literally, that's me. Doesn't that remind you? Let me know in the comments. Doesn't that remind you of me? I just love it. I just love it because I literally, the mission of our channel, make common sense go viral again, get our country back. And now we are so back. Look at this original made in the USA Patriot Nez Nation merch. You can get any that you want. Holidays are coming up. Link in the pinned comment, show notes, and description down below. I felt the exact same way. I was sick and tired of Kamala. I know these people. I've worked with these people. They are absolutely decrepit, bereft of any soul, deep, dark, black cavern inside their chest filled with narcissism, ego, and self-importance. I felt the same thing. I felt so angry. You felt my energy. I love you, Mr. President. We are so back. Speaking of which, this is a perfect segue. So President Trump posted this recently on Truth Social. He said, Elon is doing a great job, but I would like to see him get more aggressive. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before, MAGA. I mean, and then look, you can see Elon Musk's response right there. I put it on the thumbnail. Will do, Mr. President. So, I mean, let me just get this straight, because this is just absolutely next level leadership right here. You've got our President Donald Trump publicly encouraging Elon Musk, who has been literally accepting chainsaws from international leaders and dignitaries, specifically Javier Milei of Argentina, to adopt a more aggressive stance, saying, hey, you're working hard and you're working great, and we love what you're doing. The guy saved literally almost 55 billion, if not more, taxpayer dollars, doing an amazing job, sleeping on office floors. Trump is saying, you got to work harder, man. I don't think anybody, I used to think I'm the hardest working human being that ever lived. But I'm telling you right now, Trump has got me beat by eons. Elon's got me beat for sure. And maybe the two hardest working people that ever lived, quite frankly, probably of all time, nobody works as hard as I do, because I work for you and I work tirelessly because these are nasty people. I'm great with China, but I'm not good with Kamala or Trende Aragua. I mean, it's incredible that he would post something like this to egg on Elon Musk, who's already tirelessly, ceaselessly working hard to save us the waste, fraud, and abuse in our government, making the government, work more efficiently, which is exactly what he campaigned for, exactly what he promised. Promises made, promises kept. So what can we expect from this spurning on from President Trump? I'm going to call it Doge is going to be going into beast mode, turbocharged. Holy mackerel, I can't wait. Kash Patel just got sworn in. Everything is aligning. RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, the whole works. We still got a few more people left. But my goodness, America, I don't know if you're ready for the prosperity train about to come. Okay, now speaking of Doge, I just think that this clip, anytime there's an opportunity to show the meaningless, empty vacuousness of mainstream media, specifically CNN, which has caused so much damage to our country, so much damage to our fellow citizens, brainwashing them with mass hysteria and mass hypnosis. I have to take that opportunity. And we, you and me, making common sense go viral, the mission of our channel, need to help me get it out there. Check out this amazing, glorious clip of the inventor of the Dogecoin and the Doge dividend absolutely putting a smackdown on a CNN hack, Skim Hornish, or whatever the heck his name. I can't even pronounce his name. Just watch. It's
I'm going to get to the economics. Come on, I gave you a chance for a great sound bite. You got and those soft power exercises make for great sound bites. But when you drill down, for example, on Sesame Street in Iraq, they often make sense. Joseph Nye from Harvard, who gets credited with the coinage of the word soft power, you'd rather spend on that than bullets. But wait, you want to talk about
there was a terrorist attack in Iraq last month that killed 40 people. It's clearly not working. Soft power and Sesame Street are not working. If there are terrorists, we need to kill the terrorists. We don't need to fund Big Bird and Elmo.
Maybe the terrorist would have been better off watching Big Bird than learning in a madrasa. Let me make my point. Put on the screen from the Peterson Foundation. This is where the rubber meets the road. We are $36 trillion in debt. I don't know if you can see that, but that's 106,121 for every single person in America. So if Elon Musk is successful in saving us money from waste, fraud, and abuse, and by the way, James, I hope that he is. I don't like the approach, but I like the fact that something's being done. There is no money in the till. We owe $36 trillion. We owe $106,000 each. So whatever the savings ought to be, it's not like President Trump's doing us a favor by giving us 20%. Everything ought to go to the debt because the Peterson people say by 2050, 50% of all revenue is going to go to satisfying interest on the debt. We should be paying the debt. Your response?
My response is this. We should be paying the debt, which is why the Doge dividend incentivizes every American to call out waste, fraud, and abuse, to lower the budget, to narrow the deficit, and to bring down the debt. Where was this emergency over the debt when we sent $350 billion to Ukraine to be wasted? Where was this emergency, Michael, on CNN when you guys were advocating $7,000 to migrants in Chicago? $7,000 a month per migrant, and now we want to spend $5,000 one time from President Trump to hardworking Americans. The migrants didn't deserve $7,000 a month. Hardworking Americans deserve a $5,000 check with President Trump's name on it. So enough with the double standard. Ukraine did not deserve $350 billion.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. This is Madoff-like. This is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Ukraine was a Ponzi scheme. The migrant funding was a Ponzi scheme. Hardworking Americans deserve a break.
James,
it was their money, Michael. It was their money.
James, give me a chance to speak. Theoretically, it's my program. We don't have the money, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a Ponzi.
So we didn't have the money for Ukraine, right? We didn't have the money for Ukraine. $350 billion.
I never do this. I don't want to be that guy. Do I have to silence your microphone so that I can respond to what you've said? Because there's so much fallacy in what you've just offered.
Please go ahead and
I have a very simple premise here. We're $36 trillion in debt. It's a fraud. As much as I want to see us cut waste, fraud, and abuse, it is an absolute fraud to say to the American people, because of what Musk is doing, we have $5,000 to give each of you. The only way we have $5,000 is if we're borrowing it, because we're that far in debt. I'm trying to meet you halfway, which is simply to say, what a good thing that finally we're going to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, albeit it shouldn't be in this haphazard fashion. But let's at least be honest with the American people that whatever we quote-unquote save, we already owe. Now I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then I'm going to say see you later. Go ahead.
Michael, let me say this. We're fellow Americans. We care about this issue, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on this program, but I got to speak truth here. At the end of the day, we've got to send the money back that is saved, just 20% of it. The other 80% goes down to paying the national debt and narrowing the deficit. To your point, yes, there has been a fraud against the American people, the Green New Scam, Ukraine, the migrant crisis. Their taxpayer dollars were sent abroad, were not sent at home, were not spent in America, not on health care, not on education. That ends with President Trump's leadership today. He is delivering on his promise of major government reform, Michael. The Doge dividend plan is bold, and Americans support it.
All right, I'm calling time on all of that.
I'm calling time. I'm calling time because you're not allowing me to architect a narrative that fits my producers, the people who fund my producers, the people who fund the funders of my producers, and ultimately the deep state that backs this entire network for propaganda propagation. That's what he's essentially saying, Mr. Michael Scormhamish or whatever, who, again, it's like, wait a minute, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me when I'm trying to hit the talking points of the DNC. I mean, really, it should be called CDNC. Really, it really should. President Trump has been right about this, but I just absolutely love that young man right there, Fishback, Mr. James Fishback, pushing back and saying, the greatest point I love is now all of a sudden you're alarmed about our $36 trillion debt. Where was the emergency? Where was the outrage when you were giving billions, hundreds of billions to all of these slush funds and money laundering schemes and egregious expenditures of our taxpayer dollars against our consent, hiding them in very, very surreptitious legislative policies? Where was all of the outrage then? But all of a sudden now Trump says, hey, you know what? We've saved a lot of money. I think it'd be kind of cool. Americans are still struggling. Egg prices are still too high. The tariffs haven't necessarily kicked in to kind of offset the inflation of Tombstone Vegetable and Chief. Let's give these guys a little bit of a break. How about I personally don't even want the $5,000 dividend. I want us to get rid of the IRS altogether. By the way, where do you stand? Would you rather have, if you have a choice, you can't say both, in the comments down below, would you rather have the $5,000 Doge dividend, or would you rather, this is how I feel, abolish the IRS for good? Let me know down below. Speaking of wasted taxpayer dollars, Governor Gavin Newsom has just asked the federal government, the Trump administration, he's put in a request for $40 billion to help in the Los Angeles fire recovery efforts. You want to know why California's strapped for cash? Because they've spent billions of dollars on illegal immigrants. Check this out.
Enriquez with the California Department of Finance. So in the current year, to cover undocumented individuals in Medi-Cal, we're spending $9.5 billion total funds.
So it's not the $6 billion that people continue to talk about in the media. It's $9.5 billion.
Was a Budget Act number. This is a revised number based on the governor's budget updated estimates. So of the $9.5 billion, $8.4 billion is general fund.
$9.5 billion, not for struggling Californians, not for disaster relief victims, not for hardworking American citizens who have paid their taxes, paid their property taxes, paid their self-employment tax, like me here in California, exorbitant taxes here in California. No. We're Trumpifying. We're Trump-proofing California, and we're giving all of that hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears to fund the legal fees of illegal migrants. Make it make sense. On top of that, I got to share this clip from our new transportation secretary, Sean Duffy. On top of that, this egregious waste haircut that passes for a man, Gavin Newsom, has spent over $16 billion for a high-speed rail in California, and there hasn't been one track placed. Think about that. You want to talk about the most foul, weak, incompetent, grossly incompetent leadership.
I want to address the protesters for a moment, if I could. I think they were chanting, build the rail. It's been 17 years and $16 billion, and no rail has been built. So if you want to go protest somewhere, if you want to shout at someone, Go to the governor's mansion. Go talk to Democrats in the legislature who have brought us this crappy project. We're done with it. And you know what? You're going to have people who love fraud, who love waste, who love trains to nowhere. This is a boondoggle. They should ask the question, who didn't build my rail? Who got rich? What consultants, what politicians' husbands got rich off of this money?
I can only pray that Chef Bianco, who has announced he's running for governor, I said that Rick Caruso was the last hope for Los Angeles. And of course, Angelenos voted for the biggest disgrace ever, the most unqualified DEI hire, Karen Bass. I'm telling you right now, I think maybe Sheriff Bianco might be the last hope for California. I mean, if Kamala wins, I'm moving out of this state for sure. I should have already moved, but you know, it's a whole family thing. My wife's, I'm not even going to get into it. It's a big hullabaloo. Okay, speaking of a DEI hire, Karen Bass, this is leaked audio found by O'Keefe Media, where she actually, Karen Bass, the mayor, actually defends her Ghana trip amid this crisis, and then a really strange, esoteric, cryptic warning before the Los Angeles fires. You gotta listen to this.
That the situation is very dangerous, and I would never do. I will take the criticism before I do a publicity stunt. And frankly, a press conference at this point in time would just be publicity.
I think the neighbors, the property owners,
yeah,
and the residents. I mean, 41,000 people live within a square mile here.
Yeah.
Two families share a one-bedroom apartment.
But they want to hear that something is going to be done.
They want to know it's recognized. But they want to know it's recognized.
Exactly. But if I have a choice between that and compromising something, I just have to go along with it. It's not my area of expertise. I want to make sure that you are safe. And hopefully you can read in between the lines. But I would just appreciate and it's hard for me to tell you this, but hold tight. You will understand soon.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And when I am able to talk, I will be happy to go into great detail.
Okay. And you've got me on the street, and you're welcome to call me at any time. I'll call you right back.
No problem. And just in terms of my trip, just so you know, I'm missing 2 work days. Okay. That's it. And if President Biden extends me an invitation, I do.
This is on January 4th. Okay, so days before her trip, days before the fire disaster that obliterated, the worst fire disaster that Los Angeles has ever seen in its history, in California history. And she says things like, just wait till you see what's coming. I hope you can read in between the lines. I'm going to keep you posted on that, but I can't wait to read your comments. What do you think about that? Holy mackerel. It sounds so deeply corrupt, corrosive, deceitful, and just chock full of corruption, especially coming off the heels of her firing just yesterday. I did a video on this. Firing LA fire chief, the first fire of an LGBTQ, whatever you want to call them, woman in the history of the department. She fired Kristen Crowley because she claims under the grounds that the fire chief didn't warn her about the impending doom and the impending disaster. When, if you listen to that phone call, it sounds to me, Miss Bass, that you knew well far and ahead than most other people. Okay, the last thing I'm going to leave you with just gives me so much great pride. He's probably one of my favorite human beings of all time, and that is border czar Tom Homan speaking at CPAC just today, as a matter of fact, and saying this. Watch this.
I read a story last night. The police commissioner of Boston. You said you doubled down on not helping the law enforcement officers of ICE. I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me. I looked at the numbers this morning. I stopped counting at 9. 9 child rapists that were in jail in Massachusetts. But rather than honoring an ICE detainer, released them back into the street. You're not a police commissioner. Take that badge off your chest, put it in the desk drawer. Because you became a politician, you forgot what it's like to be a cop.
I just absolutely love Tom Homan. We are so blessed. You know, border crossings have dropped since January 1st. Since 2025, border crossings have dropped over 93%. Over 90. That's pretty much everybody from the previous year where Vegetable in Chief and Kamala, the borders were in charge. President Trump has said that he looks right at his central casting. I couldn't agree more. I absolutely love you, Tom Homan. We support you. Thank you so much for everything that you have done. We are so back, Nez Nation. I'm so proud. I love all of you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Tap that thumbs up if you love America. You can do that if you're watching on TV. Tap the thumbs up. Use your little remote. Go to the thumbs up and tap it, please, because it helps us reach more people so we can inform more people and make common sense go viral. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here in case you missed it. You can click that on your TV as well. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.